feel like New York always had the identity of being a very physical team. Obviously, they are one of the best teams in rebounding, and that's something that we're gonna have to focus on. But yeah, they're just a physical team, and we gotta match that physicality.
Who are your parents rooting for with Jacob on the other side?
Jacob's not playing, so probably me.
They coming to all of them?
Yeah, definitely.
What's your expectations of what this is going to be like? I mean, you've obviously been back for regular season games, but it's playoffs. What's your, what are you preparing yourself for in terms of?
I mean, I feel like I'm preparing myself just like I did for Milwaukee. Just coming in, locking into everything the coaches is telling us to do offensively and defensively, and playing my role. We understand what type of crowd is going to be there. Celebrities going to be there. Like, we just got to lock into our main things and play our type of basketball.
Anybody you want to meet?
Anyone I want to meet? I met everybody. I played there. Yeah, I played there for 3 years. I met everybody who comes out there. So.
Spike real well?
Yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How long did it take you to get used to, like, oh, Ben Stiller's right there and Spike Lee's right, like all that kind of stuff?
I mean, I'm from New York. You play in Dyckman, you play in Rucker Park, you see that every single day. So it's like being from New York, that doesn't really like excite me anymore.
For the rest of the team, is it going to be any sort of adjustment having that be part of the environment?
I mean, everybody got the same mindset on this team. Everybody want to win, and we know what we got to do to lock into that. And I feel like, yeah, we're gonna do that.
We're being from New York.
Yeah.
You know the history of this rivalry. Now you're obviously on the Pacers side of things.
Yeah.
What can you tell some of these guys who don't know about this Knicks-Pacers rivalry? How big it is?
Yeah, it's definitely a crazy rivalry, but at the end of the day, we all we got here, and basically we going into battle as soon as we get to New York. Obviously, like I said, they're one of the most physical teams in the league. They've had that identity for many years, and we just got to come in there and match their physicality and play our type of basketball, and I feel like we'll be good at that. So.
One of the messages that Rick mentioned was how every game is important in a playoff series. Is that lesson easier to learn now that you guys have won one with this group?
Yeah, definitely. Every game is definitely going to be important for playoffs. It's first to four, though. You can't get too high, you can't get too low. You gotta just cruise through it, and just everything got to be on point. Limit turnovers, take great shots, things like that.
Having played with and against Jalen, what impresses you most about him and his growth in this league?
Yeah, JB's a great player. He's been doing it for a couple of years now. I had the opportunity to play with him a year, and I knew he was going to be this type of player. We just got to lock into everything defensively to stop him. And yeah.
Is this like stopping Lillard? Is this like dealing with JB?
Nah, JB got the ball in his hands more than Lillard. And he plays 48 minutes, so we prepared for that.
How have you seen him make a leap? How has he taken it up a level this year?
I just feel like, how did he take it up a level? He's just doing all the right things. He's doing what his team needs him to do to win. And he got a lot of great guys around him who play their role to almost for perfection. So feel like we got the same thing in Ty, but we also got Myles, we also got Pascal. We have great guys too who play their role very well. And yeah, it's just gonna be a battle when we get out there.
How does New York view this rivalry differently? I mean, in Indiana, I think a lot of Indiana fans think of this as when they think playoffs, they think Knicks series.
Yeah.
How is it viewed differently in New York?
I don't think it's viewed differently. I just feel like it's hectic in New York.
Sure.
So everything's gonna be more, how do I say it, like more thrown out there.
Right.
I just feel like like I said, we just gotta lock into what we gotta do offensively, defensively, and we're gonna be good.
Well, there's some great history with the matchup, and starting off in Madison Square Garden is the ultimate. It's the ultimate challenge. It's the ultimate environment. I played a year with the Knicks and was on a playoff team with Rick Pitino in '88, And so, you know, I know firsthand what it's like to be a part of that. And so, you know, we're looking forward to it. It's just a very intense, it's a very intense matchup. You know, that's really the simple truth about it. You know, there's a lot of stuff, you know, with Reggie Miller, obviously, for 5 or 6 years, and then, you know, I know in 2013 there was another matchup that they had, and so it's always great competition. It's you know, it's an important time of the year, you know, when you get to the second round of the NBA playoffs, and you know, we're going to have to be very resilient, and we're going to have to be very together.
When you had Jalen Brunson for those couple of years in Dallas, did you see this coming, or is this just a revelation of these last couple of years?
Well, Jalen Brunson is a guy you would never bet against if you know him. You just don't bet against that guy. You know, I don't know if anybody saw this coming. You know what he's achieved in 2 years there. But if you know him and you know his character, you're not surprised. You're not shocked. You know, I think this is. You know, I was at Villanova with him, visited him for a workout one summer, and I asked several people around the Villanova program who's the greatest player in Villanova history, and you know, right down the line, everybody responded the same thing: Jalen Brunson. And so, you know, there's a program that's got three national championships, and he was a big part of 2 of them. So he's very special. You know, he was great to work with in Dallas for a couple of years. Just absolutely, I think it was 3 years. Absolute professional and just, you know, great character, great basketball, great respect and love for the game. So you cannot say enough great things about him and what he's accomplished.
What makes him him? What makes him as effective as he's become?
Well, he's obviously a highly skilled player, but he's got an indomitable will to accomplish what naysayers don't think he can do. He's just one of those kind of guys. And so you gotta respect what he's done.
Where have you seen him make a leap? I guess. I mean, especially over the last month or so. Yeah, Jalen. I mean, since you had him, but also just especially during this stretch.
We played. You know, we played him last 2 games we played him. He had 40 in one game and 39 in the other.
Right.
You know, and he's leading the playoffs, I think, in scoring average. So, I mean, it's pretty obvious. He established a very high level during the season, and he's maintained or exceeded it in the postseason. So, and that's hard to do. Not easy.
What is this? They're so good on the glass. What do they do so well to clean up there, and what do you have to tell your guys about that to be, you know, competing on the boards?
They have a great rebounding team. They have a great tenacity to retrieve the ball, and they're systematic with how they do it. They, you know, if they're not the best in the league, you know, they're right there.
Can you speak a little bit about Nembhard? Obviously, he's going to have another big challenge, but just what he's brought to your team this year, and specifically in this playoff series.
Yeah, you know, there's a level of consistency and a level of day-to-day presence that he brings. You know, he's not a real talkative guy. But he's another guy that loves the game, he respects the game, he works at the game, and he loves being a part of a team. You know, and he loves taking on challenges that are important challenges for the team. So, you know, look, he'll be one of the guys guarding Jalen Brunson for sure. You know, we'll have others, and the experience that he got in the first round, playing against Lillard and playing against Beverly and others, is super important.
Got another game 1 on the road. How do you try to match the intensity that those guys are sure to have come Monday night?
Yeah, I agree.
What's the biggest challenge, though, in trying to avoid kind of the pitfalls of what you found in Game 1 in Milwaukee?
Well, we've just got to understand that every single game is super important, and Game 1, you're walking into an environment that's different. In Milwaukee, we had quite a few guys that hadn't been in the playoffs before, and so it was a first-time experience for some of our guys. After going through that in Milwaukee, we talked today. We talked at length to the team before practice about the history of this matchup. I've been involved in several of these, and what the environment's going to be like. It's going to be Milwaukee plus. It's second round. So there's a lot of distractions with movie stars and rock stars and music people and all that kind of stuff, and these are the kinds of things that come with this kind of stage. Look forward to it, embrace it, but we got to keep the main thing, and that is concentrating on the team.
Rick, is there anything that you learned about this group through that first playoff series that is something that you did learn that's new? I know you know them well, obviously, but just
our group.
Yeah, the fight, whatever it may be.
We were able to stay resilient as we have been during the year, and we experienced a lot of the ups and downs of a playoff series. Game 1 was a poor effort, and Game 2 we made the adjustments necessary, really from a disposition and attitude standpoint more than anything. And then, you win a couple games in a row. In our case, we won 3 games in a row. It's you can have a letdown, and we did in Game 5, and we were able to finish the series in 6 with a great home crowd. But all those experiences are experiences that will help our team.
Yeah, it's a great team. They play really hard. Obviously, just a storied franchise, storied matchup between us two. So excited to add another chapter to that and be a part of it.
You and JB went back to last summer with USJ. What's it going to be like against him, especially if the season he had?
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm excited to play against Jalen, excited to play against Josh. Those are two of my good friends. We talk all the time. Literally, first call that I had after making the playoffs was with Jalen. We FaceTime for a while. So pretty good friends, and but it's competition. I'm fully excited to play against those guys.
What was that about? Like, just about what the playoffs are like?
Kind of just checking on each other. I'm checking on each other more than anything, but didn't know we'd match up, but and we're excited about it.
Were you guys tight before FIBA, or did that relationship, both of those relationships, kind of come along during that process? And what makes you guys close? What about those guys?
Yeah, me and Josh were already cool because we were the same agent. Me and Jalen had talked previously, but being out there with those guys with USA, I guess I was kind of like the substitute Dante out there with Mikhail and Jalen and Josh. I kind of got roped into being with that group, so it was fun. We have a group chat. We talking all the time. Those are good friends of mine, so excited to play against them. I'm excited for all the shenanigans of who Josh Hart is as a human being, and just excited to play against those guys.
I think there was a stat that you generated the most open threes for yourself in the first round of the playoffs. Even if they didn't fall at the level you would have liked, does that kind of inspire confidence that you've got another level that this could go when those start to fall?
For sure. I mean, it was more sickening to see that stat because I didn't make any. But yeah, I think it's going in this round. I'll make shots. I think it's a make or miss league, and I'm confident in the work that I put in on a daily basis. So I have full confidence that they'll start to fall.
How do you match the intensity that they'll have being on that home court, playing in New York these first 2 games?
Yeah, I mean, it's no secret how hard they play. No secret how hard everybody crashes the glass. I keep telling guys I'm watching Quentin Nelson film, prepared for this series, just being ready to box out, and it'll be exciting for everybody. And I think it's what you live for. These guys play super hard. They don't play a ton of guys, and they're just balls to the wall at all times. So we just got to match their intensity and be ready to play our style of basketball.
You were 40% offensive rebound rating last year. You guys want to run. Like, how do you anticipate that balance kind of shifting in any way for them?
Yeah, I mean, I think it shifts, to who the momentum is with, right? I mean, obviously everybody crashes, but if we're rebounding and running, that could probably change for them. And if they're killing us on the glass, that probably change how much we run. So it's really who sets the tone, and that's why game one is such a big deal, and just the momentum behind everything. But it can really shift between us.
You guys didn't see OG with them this regular season. Obviously, he's been massive for them, but how does he change the dynamic of what they'll throw at you?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't played them in full strength
At all?
at all. The first time they just made the trade. The second game OG didn't play, and the third game OG and Hartenstein didn't play. So, and Robinson didn't play any of those games either. So it'll be different. I think what we've learned more than anything from the last playoff series is the regular season doesn't really matter at all. Maybe help personnel a little bit more, but it's the same. It's different. You know what I mean? You can't really. There's not a ton of stock you can take from the regular season. So we know what those matchups look like and personnel-wise, but it'll be different for us. And they haven't seen us in the style of play we've been playing with. We're obviously defending a lot better than when we've played them as of recent. So I think it'll be an exciting matchup.
From what you see on film, how does OG change what they can do? How well does he fit into what Tibbs wants to do, and how much does that enhance what they can do on defense?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the fit is amazing. Like, he fits in so perfect with what they do, and he's a Tibbs guy, right? You know what I mean? He guards the best player, guards his ass off, and crashes the glass like crazy, makes open shots. What more could you ask for in today's game? So he's a great player. We got to be ready to to compete against him, and just all those guys. They all play so hard. All their wings, all their bigs. Jalen's obviously, an amazing player. So we got to be ready to go.
Ty, some of these young guys, Nembhard, Ben, getting minutes, making. What's it been like to see them grow up sort of in real time during this postseason?
Yeah, I mean, I'm part of it too. I'm the same age as those guys. We've all last series was really all of our first playoff series. So I think it's just exciting to grow together. All of us are kind of getting our first taste at playoff basketball. Now we're all going to second series together. Kind of know what to expect more from, what the environment's going to be like, what the reffing's how the game's going to be officiated, all those things. But I think it's all part of our growth together as a young team.
What did you learn most then from Game 6 to Game 1 over the course of that series?
I think just keeping our composure. I think you got to understand the game is far from done ever. Just understand not getting too high, not getting too low. I think in Game 5, like us being up in that first quarter, we kind of felt like we could take a breath and relax, like we were good, and they kind of came up, punched us in the mouth the second quarter, and kind of dominated the rest of that game. Whereas in Game 6, when we were up in the first quarter, kind of in the same situation, it was like all of us come together, understand this is our time to keep going, keep the foot on the gas. So it's important for us to understand that in these games, game is far from over, and just got to compete 48 minutes.
I know you'll open up on the road here, but it's been since March 18th since you guys have lost at home. The fans, I know, a part of that, but what has made this such a strong home court advantage here lately?
I think just the excitement that we bring to the city. It's an exciting time to be an Indiana sports fan, like we've talked about many times. And I think part of all three of our franchises are really young teams, and we're kind of the first team to, get to the playoffs and have a little bit of success. So I think that makes Indiana sports fans even more excited, and everybody's just excited to be a part of this. And I think it's just a fun time for everybody. And it's Indiana. Basketball is different here. It's not the same. And I think obviously that last series there was, some more juice to it, and there's going to be more juice in this series with the storied rivalry of what this is. So just excited to be a part of it.
You mentioned the rivalry. I mean, what was kind of your sense of it coming in? I mean, you're obviously a basketball historian, and a lot of this stuff did happen before you were born.
Yeah.
So what was, what is your sense of the rivalry? How much have you learned about it just since you've been here? I guess just what is kind of your experience and understanding of it?
Well, Rick being here helps. He's the ultimate historian.
Right.
How many history lessons that guy's given me? I think I'm fully aware of what the rivalries look like and the outcomes of all these series. So I'm just excited to be a part of it. I think that me being with the Pacers and being a part of the long-term future here, it was only inevitable before we played these guys. You know what I mean? It's kind of part of it. And it's funny where today's day and age is, like, those are some good friends of mine over there, but it's a lot of competition. I think it's going to be a lot of smoke in there. There's obviously they got their former guys coming to a ton of games. I'm sure we'll have a lot of our former guys coming to games too. So it's no secret that that's a rivalry, and so for me to be a part of it, I think it's a lot of fun, and I think it's just going to be fun to add another part to that chapter.
Yeah, the Knicks, they're one of the hardest playing teams in the league. You got to give them credit there. I think they work a lot on the offensive glass. Another big thing they do. I think they have their main guy who goes out there and pretty much does everything for them, and they just have the team of ultimate role players. So they definitely present a lot of challenges. I think our biggest thing is knowing that we have to be a team that goes out there and outworks them. That's their calling card.
You mentioned the glass. I mean, how important will that be to you and this team, especially as you try to run, but they try to hit the offensive board?
Yeah, we still want to play our game. That's big, but we just put extra emphasis on that side of the ball because you can play 24 seconds of great defense, and then it just all goes to the shitter because they have to play. We have to play another possession again.
You guys didn't have OG in any of the games that you guys played against him. How does he change what they do, what they can do? How much obviously does he fit what they want to do?
Defensive versatility is something that he definitely brings to this league. Something that's been a calling card of his for a while. He's shooting the ball a bit better as well. Someone to get downhill at times, so he can present some match problems. But at the same time, I think we study our film, we do our personnel, and we try to alleviate all that as much as possible.
What role do you imagine depth will play? Because they only go 6-7 deep, and you guys obviously have a lot of bodies.
Yeah, we want to keep fresh bodies out there. I mean, the basis of our game is running in transition, and you got to be able to have the personnel to do so. So I think our depth is something that's helped us all season, and they'll continue to help us throughout this playoff run.
The Roy block was not long before you got drafted to this franchise. What do you remember about that and the history of this series?
Yeah, I don't remember which game was it, Game 6 or something like that? Yeah, I think it was Game 6. I know it was a really close game that entire time, and that the locker pretty much changed like the entirety of the series. I think that momentum swung in Indiana's favor after that, and obviously just blocker around the world, man. You just see it all the time. Roy was known for straight up defense and whatnot. That series did nothing wonders for them, and they were able to move on to the Eastern Conference Finals.
As you guys have gotten ready for New York, have you noticed any difference in the preparation now that this team has a playoff series win under its belt? Because for so many guys, the playoffs were so new for them.
We're not playoff rookies anymore. You could definitely say that, but our preparation hasn't changed. We still take our same approach. It's very professional manner every time we step into this building, and the only thing that changes is our approach from the last time we played to this team. So just take these next couple days to study up, figure out where we need to be, and take on the challenge.
Rick was saying he kind of gave a history lesson a little bit today, and obviously you've been around this franchise for a while, and you've certainly seen and known about this series. But just how cool is it to be a part of it? Just to be one of the series you guys play when you get back in there.
It's modern day. I think that this rivalry goes on, from early '90s and on so such forth. I think it's been like 7 times these guys have played in the series. Rick gave us hell of a speech today and talked about kind of like the history, like you said, and just how much goes into this series. And I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be fun. My dad's from New York. He's got a lot of family out there, so he grew up watching that series as well on the other side of things. But he's on my side now, so it'll be cool.
Say hello to Spike.
Oh yeah, that's always a part of the series too, man. You see him there courtside. I've spoken to him a couple times. Just brings another element of fun to the game.
What did your parents say after you guys won that first series? How did they feel about all of that?
Oh, they're just proud. Proud they're able to witness everything up close and personal. Because not only is it me that's been here the past 9 years, it's been them, it's been my family as well. That's seen the development of not just myself but the franchise as well. So I think they're excited to be along for the journey. Like I said, my dad gets to go home. Be over there with his boys and talk his noise, and it's just cool. Just it's something I never take for granted. And just having having a 2-parent household, having my sisters, my girl, everybody around me. My circle's very tight.
Myles, what did you learn about this group in that first playoff series?
I think our ability to move from assignment to assignment has definitely gotten a lot better throughout this series. I think everybody wants to talk about the toughness, everybody wants to talk about the shot making, but I think it's just our IQ has definitely grown just as a unit. Just knowing how to play NBA basketball, not just basketball, you know what I mean? I think there's a lot of different facets to the NBA game than there is just to the basketball game itself. So I think these guys are picking up on that, learning the way the game's officiated, trying to get their hands out in certain places, and I think our IQ has grown the most throughout this series.
Your ability to stretch the floor was obviously important in the first round. Do you see that as being another area where you can kind of impose your will on this series?
It's definitely a weapon, in my toolbox, but I got to be able to mix it up as well. When teams start to take away the 3, you got to be able to mix things up inside. You got to be able to get them the glass. Still got to be able to go out there and defend. But just let all facets of my game shine.
Your finger all right?
Oh yeah, man, it's the same thing from man. You saw what happened.
I just remember seeing a wrap on it. All that.